Hello and welcome to Fresco Recaps. I'm explaining a 2008 movie named Wanted. Our movie begins with Wesley attending his boss's birthday. He narrates that he works as an accounts manager, and his boss Janice makes it feel like hell because of her yelling. Her shouting often triggers his anxiety and takes he antidepressant medication to keep it together. Wesley laments that he thinks his relationship is also broken because his girlfriend may be cheating on him with his best friend Barry during lunch. He reveals that his father also abandoned him a week old, and he experienced a terrible childhood. He wonders if his father knew that he would be a failure early on. Elsewhere, a man called Mr. X arrives at a ballistics expert. She is scared to see him, but he asks her to trace who made a special bullet for his competitor. After observation, she tells him that the bullet is non-traceable because it is a multi-stage bullet, and he has only the last shell. Suddenly, the ballistics expert is shot in the head by a sniper. Mr. X quickly runs to a lift where sets off at an incredible speed and leaps through the window while fatally shooting his opponents mid-flight, with so much skill that he bends a bullet. Shortly after, a phone rings from one of the victims. He answers it and cautions Mr. Cross for having left the fraternity, which is punishable by death. Mr. Cross tells him the fraternity is corrupt and how he can't catch him since he is already standing in his trap. Mr. Cross then shoots him with a similar multi-stage he had earlier that kills him instantly after traveling a notable distance. The next day, Wesley wakes up to his complaining girlfriend and commutes to work. Janice scares him with a stapler asking him for some unfinished work. As he relaxes, his workmate asks him about his friend, but Barry had gone to his house and drops his wallet while banging his girlfriend. Later on, while at a pharmacy, Wesley helps Barry by paying for his energy drinks cause he lost his wallet, and he jokingly adds on some condoms. He returns to work and Janice triggers his anxiety attack, to which he takes some pills to relax. At the end of the day, he passes by the ATM but finds out he is broke. He returns to the pharmacy where he notices Mr. Cross following him. He encounters a beautiful woman named Fox who tells him she knew about his father and how he was killed a day before. Wesley replies that his father abandoned him a week old and cares less about him, but she reveals that he was an elite assassin and how his killer is also after him. Shortly, Mr. Cross appears, aims a gun at them, and Fox starts shooting at him immediately. She tells Gibson to hide as she shoots to create an escape from the shootout. This quickly results into a wild car chase in the streets of Chicago.
Oh my god, what the fuck just happened? Right there!
Wesley is perplexed at the level of skills Fox displays, and at the climax of the chase, Fox flips the car above police cars, which leaves Wesley unconscious, and Fox drives him to the fraternity. Wesley wakes from sleep surrounded by several assassins and is greeted by Sloan, their leader. Wesley pleads he's an accountant, but Sloan tells him he's an enhanced assassin like his dad and gives him Mr. X's gun and tasks him to shoot off wings of a fly in a dustbin to prove his point. When he hesitates, a gun is put to his head, triggering his panic attack. In split seconds, he somehow manages to shoot the wings off several flies. Sloan tells him he was only able because his heart beats 400 times faster when under threat, and he throws away his medication. Sloan offers to teach him how to control his condition and to give him access to his father's money, but Wesley turns the gun on him. Sloan tells him his father's killer wants him dead and not to waste his life as a nobody. He asks him to join the fraternity of assassins, but Wesley disagrees, and they allow him to run away with the gun and flies in his hand. He wakes up the next day hoping everything was a dream, but he discovers Mr. X's gun, and he quickly hides it in the toilet. He passes by the ATM machine and finds over $3.6 million in his bank account. He withdraws some cash and continues to his office job, where his boss starts pestering him about an unfinished task. But this time around he yells back and tells her no one likes her and her behavior is annoying. He quits his job, and on the way out he smashes his deceitful friend with his keyboard and rushes out to the streets. He notices pictures of him and Fox on the front page of several newspapers as wanted fugitives for the pharmacy shooting. He quickly notices Fox, who has been following him. He gets in the car and notices it's stolen, but stays cool and she drives him back to the fraternity headquarters. He is confused to find that the area is an old textile company and looks nothing like a place for assassins. Sloan tells him that the place is indeed a textile business and not just a front. Fox is charged to train Wesley, and she takes him to the repairman who beats the shit out of him. He meets the butcher next, who trains him with blades and ends up stabbing his hand. He wakes up later in the recovery room and meets the Russian, who tells him that his work speeds up the body's healing process. Fox takes him to the gunsmith, who is to teach him how to shoot. He is shocked to see that they use dead people as targets. After several series of training, the gunsmith asks him to maneuver a bullet around an obstacle, and Sloan shows it to him effortlessly. Fox continues training him in the streets and taking him through recovery. The fraternity recovers one of their own dead, and the gunsmith says he is killing them one by one. Sloan remarks that Wesley is the only one who can get close to the killer and tells them to speed up the training. Fox takes Wesley to one of the sewing machines and asks him to take out its needle. She tells him by concentrating he'll be able to control his heartbeat without a threat. He fails and injures his fingers, and Sloan observes. He claims to be ready, but Sloan tells him he isn't. During recovery, the Russian tells him about rats and how they can be used as bomb carriers. Fox takes Wesley back to training with the repairman, and she beats him again until he answers correctly that he doesn't know who he is. Sloan takes him to Mr. X's room and tells him one of their best assassins went rogue and he's after the fraternity. Wesley gets more focused with training, reading all his father's missions and practicing relentlessly. He masters and excels obstacle training with all the assassins and Fox's train race. Lastly, with the bullet-bending maneuver, as he loses hope, Fox stands in front of the target and tells him to shoot behind her. He braves and completes the task, and Sloan welcomes him to the fraternity. Shortly, Sloan gives him his first orders to kill a person from the Room of Fate, a room that prints the names of the targets through a binary code hidden in weaving errors of the fabric. Sloan tells him he interprets, and his duty is to follow those orders. Fox guides him through his first assignment. But when on the mission, he gets second thoughts and hesitates to kill his target. While in the recovery room, Fox tells him about her childhood story about a judge handling a sensitive case, and the defendant had ordered for him to be assassinated. A hired killer held the young girl at knife point as they waited for her father to return home. The killer then set fire on the judge as his daughter watched, and then branded his initials into her neck. Fox explains that the killer had been targeted by the fraternity before this murder, but the fraternity's assassin had failed his mission. As she leaves, Wesley notices the initials branded on her neck and realizes it was her. Fast forward. He returned to his mission and bends a bullet, killing his first target. Sloan gives him his second target, which first fails, but with Fox's help he shoots the target midair. Wesley decides to pass by his home to pick up his gun and finds Barry. He kicks the door in and proceeds to the washroom. Fox overhears his girlfriend telling him he's nothing, and she walks in and kisses him passionately. On his way back, Wesley encounters Cross a second time and pursues him across the street, and in heated exchange, he mistakenly shoots the Russian. Mr. Cross intentionally shoots Wesley in the arm as he is chased by other assassins. Wesley and the Russian are taken to recovery, but the Russian doesn't make it. When Wesley recovers, he studies the bullet and he pleads to Sloan to take his revenge. Sloan grants his wish as the next target is Cross. He gets a lead to Cross's bullet manufacturer Pekorsky in Europe. Shortly, however, Sloan gives Fox a new order and the target is Wesley Gibson. Fast forward, Gibson travels to Europe and finds Pekorsky. He chases after him, but he puts him on gunpoint, but Fox emerges and saves Gibson. They then force Pekorsky to take them to Cross, and he agrees to arrange a meeting. Pekorsky runs off before they see Cross, and they pursue him. As Wesley runs, he notices Cross on the train and stops pursuing Pekorsky. Fox realizes Cross is on the train and steals a car to join the pursuit. Pekorsky calls Cross and tells him Wesley is aboard the train. Their confrontation causes chaos. Cross grabs Wesley from behind him and tries to talk to him, but he's interrupted by Fox's shooting. They exchange bullets, but it becomes certain that Cross doesn't want to kill Wesley. Fox crashes it into the train, and its sparking causes the train to derail when it reaches a bridge over a deep gorge. Wesley and Fox fight to climb up as the train disintegrates. When Wesley is about to fall into the gorge, Cross catches his hand, saving his life. although he instead shoots him in the chest, and they both fall with the train. Cross, with his dying breath, tells Gibson that he is his dad, and that the fraternity had been lying to him about everything. Fox confirms the truth and reveals Gibson was recruited because he was the only one that Cross wouldn't kill. Fox then reveals that she was sent to kill him, but Gibson shoots the glass below him and plunges into the river below before she could shoot. Gibson wakes up in an apartment on the opposite side of the street of his home. He finds Pekorsky there. Upon inspecting the apartment, he discovers it belonged to his father, who had been monitoring his whole life. Pekorsky hands Gibson a room weaving and tells him to decode it. He is shocked to discover Sloane's name in the weaving. Pekorsky explains that after Sloane discovered that he was the next target, he started manufacturing his own targets. And this is why Cross went rogue, so Sloane turned the fraternity against him. Since then, Sloane has manipulated kill orders to direct the fraternity as mere contract killers for his profit. Gibson realizes that Cross had never actually tried to kill him in their previous confrontations. He had been instead eliminating fraternity members to keep them away from him. Pekorsky leaves Gibson with plane tickets, revealing that his father wished him a life free of violence. But as he explores the apartment further, Gibson discovers a secret room containing his father's weapons and maps. He even finds a supply of the Russians' mini-bombs. Realizing that his Russian friend had been working with his father, Gibson then decides to fulfill his father's plan to take out Sloane and the whole fraternity. Fox returns to the fraternity headquarters with news that Wesley escaped. Meanwhile, Gibson buys supplies in order to trap rats for his mini-bombs, and he manages to lure them into a huge garbage truck. The following day, he drives to the fraternity, but they are all waiting for him. He blows the gates open, and they immediately shoot at his truck. He then opens for the rats, which spread out the fraternity with bombs. They start exploding according to his timer, and he starts shooting them up at an incredible speed. He battles with the butcher, who cuts him several times before finally shooting his blade back to him. Upon entering Sloane's office, he finds himself surrounded by Fox and her fellow assassins. He tells them that Sloane is killing for profit by manipulating the orders he gives them. He attempts to kill Sloane, but he is disarmed by Fox. Fox asks Sloane if this is true. Sloane reveals that all of their names had come up in the weaving and that he had merely acted to protect them. He then goes on to explain that if they truly believe in the code, then they should take their lives where they stand, or else kill Gibson and continue with the fraternity. All assassins decide to kill Gibson, but Fox sides with Gibson. She curves a bullet to kill the assassins who had been standing in a circle, then throws her gun to Gibson before stepping back into the bullet's trajectory. Gibson realizes Sloane has escaped, and after the shootout, he's left alone. Gibson is heartbroken and doesn't know what to do next as his account checks out to be in negatives. He sits on the street, but he's immediately taken by someone. We return to Gibson's workplace. He looks up the name Wesley Gibson into Google, but does not have any results. Sloane appears behind him and points a gun at the man's head, but he turns around, and it's Gibson, but his decoy. He looks down and Sloane realizes he is standing on a marked spot. He curses, and Gibson, who is miles away, shoots him in the head from the comfort of his own apartment, from the same window where his father shot Mr. X at the beginning of the movie. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Remember to share your thoughts in the comments and to subscribe. Till next time, have a nice day.